I'm near 3:30 in the morning, so it's 3:17 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And when the spreads tightened up last night, I put a little bit of a couple more tickets in here, but nothing crazy. I'm just going to leave my targets. And so far, I've done only one intervention as far as just getting out of one move and then waiting for the pullback. So where I was, somebody asked, "Have you made any money yet?" And well, that it's a system of making money and losing money. I guess the goal is that you're making more over time than you're losing. So we were down $500, and now we were up. If we got it right now, we're up $400. So it's about an $800 equity swing. And this is from trend trading, I would say, because I'm holding this position through the whole week. In the simplest terms, and it's hard to believe after looking at all the ways that you can mash up this data, I could put some really beautiful looking 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty moving averages on here, and people, it's dazzling looking. You still need a trade plan for it, and you'd still have to have a pip stop instead of a percentage stop. It doesn't make sense to have a percentage stop. And yeah, you're not going to make money. Okay, so as soon as you get in, you're going to be losing. There's no way to avoid the first loss, which would be the spread and possibly the commissions. So the market would have to move in your favor in the next millisecond for your brain to really say, dude, I never lose. Some robot chick posted a thing like, if you're harboring these dreams of winning, so cute. And she got 3 likes by herself, I think. I don't. You love that spam. I always get that whenever I get any amount of. I start to post videos or something. It triggers those robots. It's so cute. But here up $600 there. So in equity and profit loss, it looks great because I was at 48. But yeah, at any time, if you stop, just like musical chairs right now, they stopped the music on the economy. So wherever you were at when that happened, it's kind of like gotcha. If somebody's just about to buy something or just about to get married, and oh, wait a minute, people are dying. People are dying. I can't believe it. When did this start? God. Oh, they got new recordings. I mean, it's just, yeah, everybody's just going to have a sample. There's going to be nobody talking to you anymore. Just press a button. And it's just the greatest hits of do's and don'ts. Here was a nice structured trade if you've got the patience for it. If you look at this top here, we have a range. I can't say there's a precise entry. This is the problem. People don't like that. That's why people criticize Trump, is because he's like playing it by ear, and people don't like that play it by ear stuff. So if you don't know how to draw a trend line on close, it kind of looks like this. You're going to pick the lowest low, and you go, oh, this looks like a trend line. Now, we didn't come back to it. We can say that's a trend line, and can you make money from that trend line? I suppose if you take into account there's more going on than there's this trend line, and the market can't see that trend line, so it has no respect for it. It only has respect for adapting, I think, to the needs of the, oh gosh, it's roaming. I think of the prices roaming around, and supposedly they say it's price discovery. It was the market discovering it, so I don't know. But we do know this one fact that it's undeniable. There is a top up here. That's right. This is very important. Horizontally speaking, in price, a chart allows you to look back and say, Look at this hole. Now, what do you do about it? Yeah, that's the zillion-dollar question. And do you have time to do anything about it? And do you give a fuck to do anything about it? And do you mind not a perfect ride down the road? So yeah, you're gonna lose money. If you were to step in front of the market and buy this and say, I'm buying all the way down, which is one of my approaches, is to just say, you know what, dude? Yeah, I'm going to buy there based on this low and this low and this low. When we get to here, I'm going to load the wagon. Why would I load the wagon down there? It's because I know I can get my first scalp off. And even if I can't, see, if you didn't get this first scalp off here, and this is a 4-hour chart. There should be plenty of time to stand in front of the train on one ticket, not your whole account, and not 2% of the account. This 2% thing is just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And what are you going to call money? Have you made any money yet? Like, if I made $1 million, you made money. If I make $3,000, are you making money? I guess, what's your lifestyle? I mean, people right now are just sitting around going, well, people that were doing just a normal gig, supposedly not like musicians are used to this shit. Traders are used to this shit. Oh, bad trade. Corona, that's no. I heard they. Did you invest in the Corona stock? Oh, you're one of those guys. Oh, well, let me get a financial advisor. So I've had the financial advisor. I've had all that shit. We're churning north here. I'm going to let this thing cash out. I'm not going to move my targets. It doesn't. I mean, for this account, it doesn't matter. We should be able to see this trade coming. I think the hardest part of this trade has to be if you are waiting through this 20 hours of bullshit. I mean, for the person that wants to get paid, they're like, we're going to sit here for how long? And it's that's something that's really hard to accept, that you could have made money during this with the right trade plan, or you're sitting in that going, and maybe you get spooked, so you get out, or they stop you out, which they did stop me out because I just loaded on too many scalps. So yeah, it's not a perfect fit. This is like, you don't have control over whether people come to your restaurant. So when the restaurants reopen, is it going to be like this, where people are like still going? I don't think so. And people were talking about the airlines and how everybody knows they're sharing the cabin air. It's so funny how you can spook people on just the slightest basis now. Man, if you made it this far, they could blow up the world tomorrow. They've done a little, like I saw the Apple phone, I said, you know what? You got to buy an acoustic guitar, dude. You got to put away the foot pedals. That's just me. You step away from the pedal board, please. But yeah, I think we're gonna go. We could make it to this zone. If we make it above this line, we've got all the way to this little narrow rooftop here, and that is such a key level. That's one of those ICT order blocks. But you can talk about order blocks all day long and show me all the best trades in the world, but then are you getting in on these trades? And can you survive the punishing sideways action, the noise, the consolidation? So one undeniable truth of market behavior, price action, is that in order for you to get this move, you need to have this shit going on. You need consolidation before explosion. Then you need another consolidation, which has a little different character. It's not quite as dramatic. Then you see a pullback to this top. We still have plenty of space to cut into. And we could propel to this. Everybody's cashing out in this box up on the top. from this notch down, we know there's people, they're going to bail. And the people become the other way on that trade too. So to position yourself, I would spread these out. I would hold down the Alt key. I'd feather these out more. I don't like the idea of this cluster here so much. It's the hot spot in the exit. Kind of not really great, but... Or I'd scooch them up maybe to the tippy top of that roof. All of these tickets. So if I didn't think I was in big enough, so here I'm only in about 100K now. So if I can make $1,500 this week, did I make money? $5,000 demo account, kind of just, I would say, here is where I should have put in less. Also, I didn't trade anything at the market here, and I didn't trade anything on limits. So you kind of take the technique into account. Are you able to check the market every 12 hours and make a decision? And it's a real creeper gear decision. This is a 4-hour chart. And you could have, if you're not in the market yet, there's all sorts of trades here. I see my first sell limit coming in here, and the target's got to be where we're at right now. The stop here. So the labor intensive part of this is that, well, you know, shit, let's just put a 10K in there. If that's your trade, let's just put a 10K in there. We'll move on next. I think you can do that. That's up to you. I don't see the point. If I could press a button that's going to layer this thing with a 10K, why would I, if I could press a button that's going to, you know, those things where you mail out these spam, it's like a spamming the market, or just putting in these tickets and just picking up total nonsense moves. So when the market does this stuff, people are freaking out like, oh my God. Yeah, but that's perfect for somebody that's going to grid trade entry on limits. Not that that's the only way you can trade this thing, because the trend trader really has to wait for the end of the 4-hour period, or you know, he's got sell limits on these rooftops, which is a different kind of look back. This is just very recent look back. But see, then people would say, well, why don't you just trade the best trade? Well, the best trade, I guess, is this one here. You're waiting for this to cave in a little bit and to pick that up. On that one particular trade, on that one day, in that one moment, maybe that's your whole trade all week. And you traded so big on that, you go, dude, I make money every week. Get out of here. So the term making money, it'd be like keeping money, because you wouldn't want to just make money and lose money and tread where the account's just treading water, unless you just like trading. Or it doesn't matter. You've got enough money. You're just dicking around. You're making $500 a week trading. People are like, oh, that's great. Like, I don't see you driving a Ferrari. You must not really know how to trade. Well, why would you? If you don't need a Ferrari, why would you work that hard? I don't get this thing. You think it's easy to fucking sit down and take $3,000 and make $10,000 every 30 days? How good are you at trading? You should be able to take a fucking $10,000 account and go to like fucking $80,000 in like a month. You know what you're doing. How are you making 5%? Well, I got a lot of filters. First of all, okay, wait, can I explain it? I got some hang-ups. They used to call them hang-ups. Yeah, gotcha. But you can make so much fucking money, you blow your brains out. You can also lose so much fucking money, you blow your brains out, if you literally don't have, like, you're like, the market's moving fast, you made money, you don't know why. And I think that's the disturbing thing. You're like, why is the market like going down so hard? Well, could it have anything to do with the previous prices that people accept as normal? So the non-acceptance, uh, it's like the auction part. If you put in a bid down here and enough people accept that order, off bid and offer thing, and it's just pushing up and down. Or you could look at this as a 100-yard lines. These are football fields, and takes the ball, runs, loses ground, first down, second down, makes another run. There's some bottomless pit of metaphors that you could attach to the market also. So it goes on and on. And I suppose people will never agree on the trade because some people are in the swing and some people are in the scalp and some people are in the intermediate and some people in long term. In the books I've read, people talk about. So when I first started on this, I wanted to be very exacting. And I read in this one book that it's about this. They say intermediate trend, long term trend, short term trend. I was like, well, okay, could you get a little tighter on that? You mean the 4-hour chart's the intermediate trend? Well, it could be if the daily is the. And I'm just like, dude, I'm out. And then when I heard about patterns, I said, oh, I can see the pattern. So and if I could see the spread on a computer screen, there's a problem. Then I'm hyper diligent about I'm getting ripped off every fucking second by the spread. That's why you could just trade the euro dollar. But then the problem with that is the euro dollar may go berserkoid and you're like, holy shit, this thing's never moved like this before in my life. Look at this drama on this thing. So that's another reason why the market's kind of saying, like, I could give you this much right here based on what you're doing. And it doesn't know you exist. You're stepping into a vortex of a storm. It's like you're saying, I just learned how to fly and I want to fly in a storm. So the market, when it goes up and down, it's like a storm. It's also like the football teams have gotten so strong that they're able to just like you just lost 5 guys on your team. They're dead. The other guys comes back, and it's just vicious. And time kind of goes from like what used to take 5 days to happen can happen in like 5 hours price wise, and the rate of change is just mind boggling, and it's going to shock every indicator. It's happening all at once, and you're trying to smooth it out and make sense of it with modeling, or even linear regression is kind of like with that kind of harebrained stuff. But how much are you gonna give a bet on each one of those signals or ideas? So if you go to the casino, are you really winning every game? I mean, people that make money, so-called money gambling, they are making a living, and they kick them out of the casino. They know what's going on, and this is also with the brokers. If you make too much money, they're going to slow you down. You can't go into the casino in a small brokerage firm with a big tickets and start. It's so funny, people complaining. I can't believe the broker's not letting me. Like, you're trading against the broker. I mean, you kind of like. You're not supposed to arbitrage and all that stuff. You still can though, because you just find a shitty broker now and just trade against him, and just don't let him. Just don't do it every day, right? The people that go and take the sample foods. What happened to sample foods? Remember, you used to walk in the grocery store. I don't know where I live. This is what happened. You'd walk in, and I'm like, why are you handing out shit on a toothpick? You're all worried about people getting sick. I mean, we've had colds for how long? People have been sick as fuck. I mean, who's been doing this? Don't double dip and all that. You gotta wonder, man. You really gotta wonder. It's kind of like people deserve the insanity they get. Amazing. So I'm into the structure idea that this is up and down market. You can take it or leave it. I could see the moving averages here in my mind's eye where they would be. I can draw trend lines. You still have to have like some amazing trade plan. And if you're going to do the empowered trading approach where you're waiting for the perfect of all perfect setups, you're waiting for this thing to come and touch this trend line and it didn't, so you didn't get in. You're like, damn it. Oh. I think you have to have more than one approach, and the broker's letting you do a market order, which is just pulling the fucking trigger because it's down in the 4 hour. Or he's going to let you put a buy stop up here and go, if it's going up, let them fill me. I'll take the risk of them shopping me out. So if I get in too tight here, too early, I got to put all my breakout strategies or people's breakout strategies. We have a triangle. It's got to resolve somehow. You just can't keep going into a delta, right? It's going to go to nothing. It's impossible. So it's the breadth of this delta it's important. Whereas this is just an insane move. The cause is this. The cause is always to the left. If we rocket through this today, the cause will be this hole, this notch. All these notches, and this very tall, all the way to the 100. I don't know if there's news coming out or it's a holiday. But anything above this, we could get out. I probably could make about $1,200 here. If we make it to this line, 1,200, would you be okay making $1,200? And they take the account to 6,200. We had consensus trading. If I had a bigger computer, I'd live stream it and I'd say, okay, who says we should get out in the next 3 hours coming into the U.S. Open? We could just pop up in that window. A big feasting. It's like when the birds are like, oh yeah, these birds are about to kick in here at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's funny. They just I don't know, they've moved in or something. There's new birds out there. Is anybody talking about the birds? Corona's bullshit. Dude, I got birds out here that are doing at night, just before the sun goes down, they're like setting up scams and stuff. Tweeting, they're literally tweeting, I suppose. Conspiratorializing against me. I don't know what they're saying. But yeah, you could trade this all week long, from trying to make 10 pips out of this currency or making 50 now. So it is more opportunity. But man, I think just if you can't make money from this stuff, it's only because the market will scream up and drift back, or drift up and or slam up and slam down. And what's driving it, for the way I see it, are these holes. If there's a hole, something's going in it. And this is a very tall window of despair, of void, of people have just not. We haven't got there yet. When we able to get, so when we were trapped under this floor, when people sold into this new law, right, the confirmation people, it's almost a Williams fractal there. They sell into this and they're like, woohoo, this is going down. It's going. I mean, don't forget the trend traders sold this baby rally. So I would say your toolbox needs to have I buy baby rally, I buy baby sell-offs on the 4 hour with a tight stop. You are in this trade, you are up. I sell baby rallies after a big down move. So what's the criteria? If the market goes up, a shallow pullback, you buy with a tight stop for this move in a perfect world. When the market slams down, I think it matters. You're waiting for this to sell, or are you buying that because somebody sold this? And here's where the big problem is. There's somebody who sold that to make that, and they made money. So on that baby pullback, even right here, somebody sold that rooftop, right, for this pullback, and they made their trade. So the market's just got a million opportunities here from so many different angles of like, well, let's go with three. So you've either got a crop of limits here, you're flat, you're waiting to get filled, you're going to do something off of this. Or you're pulling the trigger right now, anticipation of breakout here, you want to get in just before that, but you realize if you do that, there's just a bunch of sellers above here going to go against you. So it's like, how big are you? How many your army, if it's a war room, you have 55 people on your army, you know you're going to lose 2 because they were too close to the danger. And what is the danger? It's volatility, but the danger is also how people make money very quickly and make money. So they're making it quickly to justify all the work of sitting through this. So if you sat through this and it spikes up, you would say, well, this week I made X. But yeah, you sat there in a loss for 25 hours. Does that seem like you know how to trade? But that's just how it is if you're going to do that. Those trend trades, and you're going to, yeah, we're getting stopped out, but it's all right. Overall, we're up. Oh, that's really good. I heard that's really good. Whereas I think that if you looked at the chart, you said, well, if that's true and you can see all those patterns and you can see the structure, then why couldn't you win every trade? Well, it's only because you said, well, this trade needs a 10 pip stop and this one needs a 100 pip stop. Now, if you could trade with a 1,000 pip stop and a 200 pip stop to make 100 pips or 500 pips, you could say stuff like, I've never lost a fucking trade. If the entries were spaced 50 pips apart with 150 pip stops, so as you see, as you blanket an area of price, all of a sudden there's all these new possibilities. You wouldn't even know about this Corona thing. If you had, sure, you had some restaurants you own, but you also had, a whorehouse or something practical, or at least a porn site. My God, they must be doing well. All these things that are like tangential. Bitcoin, maybe you own Bitcoin, you're like, man, this Corona thing. Bitcoin seems less dangerous, and the danger level is so funny how people's mind is set to what's scary. So every time I see somebody wearing a mask, not that it's not, people wear condoms and stuff like that. So yeah, I put a condom on your face maybe, but I know people want to protect themselves, but Jesus Christ, really? I say just stay home. That's my advice. I like the stay-home policy, honestly. I don't feel like a reclusive, disturbed person anymore. I'm starting to feel normal. That people finally saw it my way. I knew the market would see it my way eventually. Yeah, it takes some patience to sit through these swing trades. There are people that bought below here. They bought all the way down, and when it got to here, they just got in heavy as hell. They just said, I'm going to going in deep right here. And these never filled at the 100, so I can't imagine being in one position. I really can't. I mean, I know that I would make more money if I was in one position, but I'd lose more. Because I have to endure. There's no wiggle room. There's no way to add to the loser. You got to add to the loser. You must add to the loser. So don't add to a loser. When I first heard that, I just about jumped out the window. I thought, you got to be kidding me. All the money I've ever made was adding to the loser until it turned around in a accumulation phase of being part of the unknowingness of an exact turnaround price. So you have to layer into these things. You just got to. The market can't withstand it. Let's say you had $1 zillion and you just started to manipulate the market, at some point you're trading against yourself. So the idea that the big boys are manipulating the market is so harebrained, because the market just won't withstand that kind of. You can't stretch it that far. You can, and it's past somebody's a bank account or trading account, because the account was never designed to fucking go through like a pothole that's 40 feet deep. It's like asking a car design for this to take it off road. And you will win you will win the off road race if you have these big giant swing stops of 150 pips, 200 pips. There was this guy I talked to on Skype years ago. He's like, dude, he's like, I never lost a trade. I'm like, what? And he said he traded fundamentals, and he had a 300 pip stop. I was like, I got you there. You could probably be 200 pips underwater. You're down $20, and you're like, that's just $20. Come on. I sit on a $20 loss all month, and then at the end of the year, the guy's up like $100, or maybe $80. So here I put the 150 pip winners in here. I actually put them in. Look at this. I'm risking 50 to make 150, and I've hit that H12 about oh God, I'd say 70 times. I got a 70K where it gets in 8 pips away from current price. So that's got a 50 pip stop. I can endure punishment all the way to here. And if the market does back up on you, that's the other thing, is that the money management to me just means the risk per ticket. And if I have more tickets, I have a softer equity curve. It doesn't get slammed like, wow, you're rich, now you're poor. It goes like, okay, you got money, you lost a little money. So that's more of a. So I could take this account here at the end of the week and publish it and look at the stats of it. I know exactly pretty much what I did. I mean, I'm just clicking everything that'll fill. When I was doing the video, it was slow because I was doing the video. But after the video's over, I can click every ticket on here. So it wasn't the brokers. My computer couldn't handle me clicking all those tickets. Now, I could keep adding to that array. I could put the 100 pip stops to make 200 pips, but I don't really have the patience for that trade. Like this could go up 200 pips this week, you know, from stem to stern. From this Sunday night open here, we could go from here to here clean. It looked like a big, it'll be a hammer. This is another big pivot. But this is all coming together here, and I guess there is a goober out there with a buy stop trailing here, just going, you know what, man, someday this is going up. And I've traded like that during the news, so I could do this trade on the news. If the news comes out and the market slams down, I just keep hitting a buy stop key in the last 15 minutes. I like that entry, because if this was a 1 hour chart, as soon as this thing starts to come back, they're trapping me on this ticket right here. But when this thing comes there, man, smashing back to this floor, this is the big. Also, this pullback here is a big deal. That's the doji. We know that baby zigzags are a big deal. Trend traders got in there. They ripped through the ceiling. I look at this as like ceilings and rooftops. Like here's the attic. This is where people have these Gartleys. I would put my Gartley inside the. So they're seeing these things and thinking, yeah, God, look at this. Beautiful. This is like a 618 or something. Right. But if you really sold hard here, where this bottom becomes a top, and maybe you do have some moving average crossover system, it just happened to cross over because the market just happened to be behaving the way it just happens to be behaving now. And, you know, adaptive moving averages is what I assume the no nonsense guy has some magically adapting moving averages. Oh yeah, right here we got it right there. See, pulled back to my moving average. Did it? No. No. You know when it pops above here, it's gonna be Psycho Ward. Okay. Sell limits up here all day long. Now that's a trade that hasn't happened yet, but that's obvious. I've seen this a million times, a zillion times. But yeah, the 4 hour chart, it's just, you gotta wait. If you had a buy limits trailing here, you got a buy limit, a buy limit, a buy limit. They fill you, they fill you, they don't fill you. And the other guy's actually making money against you because he's going sell stop, sell stop, sell stop. He gets filled, he makes money. So which is the better trade? Well, they're both good trades. Well, how can that be true? Because the guy that does a cancel replace and he starts to make this a bigger ticket in martingale terms, he goes, he's got a pending 1K sell, then he cancel replace, put a 2K, cancel replace, put a 3K. Gets filled, takes 1K off. He has 1K to take off because he stacked them. The market's stacking. That's how this is why there's a hole here. It's stacking, it's ready to, so the cancel replace, by 1K, by 2K, so it's counterintuitive. You got to start getting in bigger. Now it's a 4K and you take off 1K. They stop out 1K. You still hold 2K. Right? The market's telling you which trade to put on at every moment. Here it's saying, you know what? Put some buy limits down here. We could still go smashing down here. The person that bought the pullback here at the market because they said, well, pull back a little bit. So I did what you said. I put on a buy order with a tight stop and they stopped me out. And that's, you could say, well, that doesn't work, that buying at the market. Well, it doesn't work there, right? But all you have to do is buy again and again and again and again. So this may be when you buy at the market and say, oh, that doesn't work. Look at, like if you had sold at the market here because it's up and then you're holding it, and sure, you're right for a little bit. They'll let you have a little bit of money. It's no nonsense, would say. I had a little bit of money. But then, man, they manipulated the market on you. So it's just the market, or the prices, once they shear off this, look at the reaction off of this. This was the basement being scalped. Right there. That whole probe to here, we never made it to here, but this window is a deep slot. They dip into that, and somebody made money on that. And we knew that this was the a little cut into this area, and the trade system that lost money here by buying the slight pullback is pretty decent winner here for at least about 80 pips. Not bad. But we all know that as soon as it gets past here, we got to be careful because we know that's a seller's window. I mean the buyer's window. They're going to start gobbling this up, and when it breaches this cove here, this little notch, wow. Whew. Comes back to this bottom, and we can't hold it any lower, and then we just stop hunt one more pip on Sunday. Then clean rip. Nice trade. You could have got out Here's the other thing. You could have got out here and waited and just bought, dumped the whole thing, buy here, buy here, buy here, buy. I don't think you could have done any better. Because after this thrust, you could have dumped the whole fucking thing and then just bought this one with a tight stop. And see, the sellers already came in. It's 3 minutes to the top of the hour. So, looking for a pullback now. The sellers just came in on that. It's going to get wackadoodle. Here's why, if I was not in the market, I'd put buy limits in right now. Let it open. So this is where it's also, we were up $600. It's looking very good. We could have just got out and said, you know what, let's go flat, start over. Well, since this account, I can't really do that because I'm just testing a strict approach and having to work around it. So this is the thing. If you're going to say that you're going to stay in the trade, then you've got to psychologically accept that you may have missed the best exit for the size you're in and for the money you think is money. You should have just got out. And that's only if you think you could get back in. Just set up the exact same situation you had before. So I think that is the other consideration. If you know how to trade decent enough to know, okay, this looks like based on, I mean, you really have to imagine that you're making it okay to break a guitar string and be embarrassed, I suppose, breaking two and not having another guitar to play, and you're in front of a bunch of people. So that's like what trading is for. As far as, well, what happens if you break a few strings? Well, in trading, that'd be like getting stopped out of a few K, 100K or 20K. And the market goes nuts. Here comes the news, and they kick you out of some of your trades, and you still got your 150 pip stops on some of the tickets. And it's in real life that doesn't happen very often. Like if, or I guess people would cheer you on eventually, right? They'd say, "Oh, look at this guy. He's down to one guitar string, and he's still nailing it. He can still get the melody out." And that's the thing is that people see these markets as like, I see it like this: the melody or the verse is the consolidation, and the chorus is the big, obvious, hey, everybody agrees that we've consolidated long enough, and let's get the fuck out of here, which is going to happen eventually with people. People are just going to go underground. So the other consideration, I'm going to jump topics here to the coronavirus thing, is that there's a black market. Let's face it, there is plenty of loopholes and workarounds for the government. And nature finds a way, and it did it with Bitcoin, because you just can't keep paving over nature. The weeds are coming through. The trees are going to come through your concrete, your cement pond. So you can build all these modern buildings. You can do all these things, and there's going to be a hurricane or earthquake. There's going to be an earthquake. Don't forget when California falls in the ocean, supposedly. What's going to happen? How much people are going to lose their minds on that, right? So what exactly? What is the tipping point for everybody to lose their mind? But yeah, these markets, and then trying to queue up these charts with fundamentals and moving averages, and all these things had to be just in place before I can do this trade. It's just too much pressure, I think. So I like the small shop trading where it's just, you have multiple strategies going. When it's time to trade breakouts. You can see it. I mean, you can see the goober trades, or the unsophisticated mechanical trades are obvious. Now, I granted the Gartleys and the Fibonacci, that does take a pencil behind your ear and one behind. So you really have to think, do I like the idea that I spent a lot of time analyzing. Therefore, I have the direction and the target and the stop. I mean, I've got this thing queued up. And this is the trade I'm going to take. Or I'm going to just go, you know what? I have no fucking clue if this is going to work out, this trade, but I'm going to put it on anyways because I don't have any shame. I don't care if I break all my guitar strings. Um, and maybe you try to break all your guitar strings at the Hendrix approach. I just don't think there's one way to do it, although I think when people sell a course that has rules or this no nonsense rule system, it kind of ruins the fun for people that just want to go, you know what, I could see an edge or I could see a window of how you could trade this without having to. So you could play guitar by ear, or you could just start playing it, or you could go to music school and you could. Oh, I know exactly what I'm playing. I know what mode I'm in. I know what time signature I'm in. I can write the whole thing down, but I have no soul. I have no ability to like say, oh, you know what? I think we're a little oversold here. I'm just saying, like, I think the stock market took a spike Aurelius that was a little too much. And man, I don't think people have ever seen shit like this before. I I've never seen anything like it. Volatility wise, S&P 500, dude. As they say, buckle up. Of course, I do think most of it's over as far as that goes, but I mean, there could be. Okay, so buckle up implies there's volatility because otherwise, if you creeper gear off a cliff, you kind of don't really notice the old frog in the soup thing. So I don't know, but yeah, this is a train wreck. And if you're waiting for your indicators to catch up, man, God bless you. Our thoughts and prayers with your family. Well, I'm waiting for it to hit my. I have a 45 moving average out here. I'm looking for the market linear regression. Actually, now I'm using that shifting thing. You know, like the Ikamushu. That's another thing. They got the moving average here. It's out in space here doing the same thing. Yeah, it's like an acid trip. The Ikamushi cloud guy. Okay, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of controlled substances. A lot of altered states, isolation tank. Popping above that is our target, and we're going to be cashing out into this. I'm trying to make $1,000, at least 1,200. So we're in lockdown day number fucking I don't know what, and then Trump is kind of dropped the ball there. What happened to the 15-day stay in place? So we don't even know if that's working now because California has the herd thing where people get sick and they deal with it and they build up immunity, herd immunity. Yeah, I do believe the herd immunity seems to be working. Maybe they're both working. Who the fuck cares? But it is funny that it shows prosperity when people are afraid to die. I mean, yeah, people are they were they were killing it, and people that were in the stock market were just like they could do no wrong. They say there's no way to lose in a bull market. Now look at this thing screaming back. Very impressive. You gotta love this shit. So wow, now we could have some serious scalpers coming into this thing to dump as we retract up. Look at this thing screaming. So this would be it. I would get out of all of my longs if I'd bought below here and below here, and now I'm finally back to, and even the big boys are finally back to, this was where all hell broke loose when you took out that low and that low. So now, according to the systems, or you technically went in a downtrend here. That's a 34 moving average. So we could expect a lot of people stalling out up here. because we're waiting to see. Of course, this is like almost a perfect 50% retracement to here right now. And now you have to go back to the 15-minute charts to make money. You got to drop down and start over. It's like a trucker. You got to come down to like fucking gear number 3 or some shit if you actually want to make money trading the S&P 500. If you can't adapt from day trader to swing trader, yeah, you're never going to make it. Because what are you going to wait your whole life for this entry here? Going, I heard about buying new lows, and look at this retest at the low of the year there. Bought right there, son. That's right. Me and your grandpappy we got in here. We just said, fuck that. Fuck that no nonsense. I'll show you some no nonsense, son. We bought right there, see? Jed, he put his stop in here and I laughed at him. I said, you gonna get. He's like, son, I'm prepared to buy from here down to here. So the guy that can afford this is a different guy that has his Gartley all set up on a fragile little price down here. Those two different people. This is like, I mean, even the top ticket on this box is up. You bought that whole thing. You could have done it. You could have done that trade. But here's what people say. Oh, but dude, when it got to here, I was like, holy shit, I ran out of money. Yeah, that's right. But how much money was in the account? How often do you see this opportunity even set up? And so to backtest it doesn't make any sense because that would have meant that you had done that back then, like you're going to do that in the future. Do you really think you're going to do that in the future? You're going to stand in front of this and go, well, you know, my baseline says it's in a downtrend, so I only sell it from the short side now. If you don't trade reversals, if you can't buy down here to sell here, which is the most obvious trade, well, the problem is this move compared to all this. Wow. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that's some volatility there, brother. I don't know any other way to tell you. That is wow. Because of a virus? Okay. So and so we could go down here. This is the dream of the new bears. If you're flat and you're gonna sell here, you're gonna project here. In your greediest of greediest trades. In your most conservative trade, you're going to scalp to this top. If you sell here right now, you know you could probably squeeze this out. But then it's like, well, which kind of trades can you do now? We could go, if you imagine a possibility that's either going to go this way. So we're either going like this. This is the bull's dream. It just never looks back. The bear's dream is that we go like this. I mean, straight down, like I ain't got time for this. That would be the fantasy trade. Then maybe the reality is that it's going to go like maybe this. And this. And then the worst case scenario is that it just kind of drifts around up here and it doesn't really, it takes so long for it to consolidate. Just like it did here where you have, this is the first pullback. First time people get on the weekly train. They buy that. Pull back here and they think, well, there's still some money left on the table. We still haven't come back to this amazing support. Support, right? These are these support nodes. People did scalp off of that, believe it or not. Once it got below here, they loaded up and they were able to make that, right? Because if we went here and we went here, we know we went here. How do we know? Because we closed down, which means we went up the next day in some manner or some form. It's very subtle. It's just one bar. Right, so if we closed here, we know we went here the next day. People scalp to here. Then after this plunge, wow, what a fantastic trade. If you could afford that trade, which I don't think people could, because look, if they're used to this shit and then this happens, they're like, oh boy, that's different. No shit. Actually, this is like the British pound falling apart at 220. This is amazing because people found out they could die from a virus. Amazing, but the cause of this still has to be, in the end, this hole left behind by all the bulls. We backfill here, we backfill, and then it's just like, wow. I'm looking at this being the most dangerous, or dangerous to the bulls, is when they leave all of this behind, it's like a broken heart. And when this thing caves in, just like it did here, but people don't put the emphasis on this sell off like they do on this one. They're both exactly the same. This void left behind fills, and it's not done filling. It does a total cave in there. That is a decent, at least these few weeks here. I would love to go back to the headlines. What's going on here? Why? And even the moving average nailed it. Why is this sell-off look the way it does? Does anybody wonder that? I sure do. So I'd always like to, because I used to fight with my dad about fundamentals against technicals, against price structure. And I, to prove the point, I showed all these there's bad news about this, and I go, look at this, see. So that is what I'm looking at, is this big sell-off here. I wonder what the news was. Look at this thing screaming back. Wow. Yeah, I'm cashing out. If I bought that plunge, I'm getting out of something. And you had to endure that much. And when it got to here, I bet that blew people's minds. There's a very clean wick there, and that is quite a move. Well, glad I lived long enough to see this shit. From all the trades, all the markets I've seen, and look at the yen as it melted down for years. But the other astounding thing here is that this amount of volatility, I don't think I've ever seen in my life. Of course, if you compress this logarithmically to compensate for the fact that, percentage-wise, this is not a big deal. Price-wise, it is a big deal. Phew. So yeah, there's a lot of. It's very. I think where it's going to calm down now. But yeah, that last little blip there, and then I think we're going to stabilize, and there'll be all sorts of trades for all different time frames start to come into availability. So being able to switch time frames, and that's why if you do have a scanner or a moving average, this is where you have to go hunting for setups that fit your criteria. So you'd have to go to the half-hour chart and say, okay, I'll take the half hour. Do I've got my system here? Here's your trades on the half hour. And here's where you have to adjust your stops real tight. And this, like I said, unless you got a 10 pip stop all the way to a 1,000 pip stop at 10 pip increments, it's pretty tough. And here's where you'd say, okay, I'll put the buy limits in here. I want to buy this plunge. I would ignore the. See, this is where you have to ignore your indicators. So it's below the baseline, and I'm on the 30-minute chart. Should I sell? Oh man, here it nailed it, right? It just happened to nail it there. It happened to nail it here. This is good, pulled back. But does it touch the moving average, or should I buy this? This one pierced it. Well, go to the 1 hour chart. So you almost have to hunt the time frame that fits. You're like, the 4 hour chart. Let's see. Oh, here's a trade on the 1 hour chart. So you could have taken this. But so did the guy that buys this. The guy that buys that, he's already up. He's up and out of this trade. So that's gone. For him, he's made money. So it just depends where you're. What trade are you gonna do? Let's go to the yen. Like if you're in this trade, long or short, right now, you're just like, um, you're not getting paid either way on this one. So this spread to me sucks. So I'm not going to put a hedge on here, but you could put a hedge on here. I just wouldn't want to. I don't want to waste time on this. See, this comes back to the structure at the 100-yard line. So the same move as we saw in the euro, we saw in the euro to the yen. Yeah, it's just a different, slightly different amount of pips. Same trade really. We get the here's the it's a wider window because of the spread. And rallies to here. Structures, same structure issues. Breaks up, pulls back. Here there's a double instead of a single, I think. Then heavy interest below this price, So it doesn't matter which instrument you trade. Just it's like you play guitar real good. You don't have to play. You don't have to trade every currency pair just because they're moving. And I can see, yeah, you got a moving average here. I'm going to take the best trade out of all these currency pairs. I guess, go knock yourself out. But to me, when I look at my equity, I want to know why I'm winning and losing. And if I just have one currency pair per account, I can see, oh, that's all right. I expected that. I think I did put a British pound trade on here, unfortunately. Right there, see, I don't know if I got stopped out. See, I have to look at the history of that. This is very quiet. Something's going to go terribly wrong here. That's the daily chart, by the way. And look at this British pound. You got an algorithm for this thing? You better look at this thing. Wow. Dude. That is the weekly chart. Is this the Prime Minister getting sick? Well, see what happens when the Prime Minister gets sick. Man, look at that. That is some serious price action. I think we are going to go up to this. There'll be sellers galore right there. Looks just like the stock market. Isn't it funny how all the markets, I think I was talking about that yesterday, all the markets that looked exactly the same to me. When they bid them down into like insane lows, every currency pair, every instrument was crushed into a 4-year low. Maybe a 4-year high on gold and a 4-year high on the the palladium market's on fire. It's on fire. It's at 2200 again. So I have some real palladium actually, so I just sold some palladium. They should go down when they see my ticket come in of real physical. Look at this range. Step back, Jack. British pound is just go to the 1 hour chart. You can trade this on the 4 hour chart. It's 100 pips. Look at this stop hunt. So these are, you got to have some twice as much money to trade this, but look at this thing crush that, whoosh, and then smash up. So this would be very difficult to, you can make money, but you're buying this pullback, trying to make 100 pips, buy pullbacks, don't quite make 100, then cave in the hole. This starts to flatten out. I suppose it's my trading journal here. You can see I put on the hedges right there. Made a little bit of money on that smash down. So if you do a screenshot of this should be all. Like here's a hedge. It gets quiet on the 4 hour chart. As soon as this dropped down, I manually came in and put a hedge on there. So I made some money there. And then here's where I got stopped out as scalps. Too tight of a stop. Since this is 100 pips, you can't be running no 10 pip stops on that. Just never make any money. Same thing here against the dollar. British pound looks just like the euro in the sense of this double bottom into the top, consolidation, then finally a move. Sellers come in at this top wick, pull it back. Trend traders just bought 12 hours ago or 8 hours ago on that pullback. The true range is dying out. We expect some kind of craziness here, or we're going to go smashing all the way back and clean out that void. The week's over. So we're all the way back to the starting gate that we fell through the floor on. So I'm just going to let this thing drift up. There's still plenty of trades to place as far as there's the 1 hour. So the 1 hour at the market traders, they should be long. The first pullback in Asia was here. There's a 1K, a 2K, a 3K. You're kind of pyramiding in. I'm not a big fan of adding to a winner. Hopefully I scalped out this one here on, but see, I started to hit the button here. So this is where I put on the another hedge. As the spreads tightened up in Asia, I put on this hedge here. So I added to the winner a little bit, about 25K. So letting this go to the end of the week, if it makes $1,000 by the end of today. So we got 12 and a half hours left in the trading week, and then there's next week. So if you're looking ahead, this is going to be insane. I just, in a sense, it's easier to make money now because the fear of the market going up or down has it's gone. There's no, people aren't thinking, well, what if the market goes slamming up and down? It just did. I don't think we're going to go and take out the lows or the high of the year anytime soon. Since we've come back to fair value, we've drifted back to the standard deviation of sanity. Yeah, we could just be all drifty now. And you could get chopped and spread and over trading, looking for that big glorious move that we just saw. So stepping back in, or thinking that, oh, we just made money with that algo, let's do it again, and I guess forcing the trade by going to another time frame that makes it like, oh, here, look at. But if you do go to the next time frame, you got to take with you the fact that now you can't. Your target has to be 15 pips, not 150 pips. And then that's a problem because now you got to trade bigger and risk more to make the same amount of money you were making before. Risking a little bit on a giant move. Exact same amount of money, but you're having to adjust yourself from toilet paper to no toilet paper. Notice at the store now there's more toilet paper than, it depends where you go. But I'm like, I don't get it. It's almost like some people, I see the grocery stores changing what they're going to sell now. They're like, dude, we're not going to. You want that? You go somewhere else. We're specialists. Like the market adapts, people are going to become specialists now. Let me delete these objects. Okay, so let me clean up the chart there. Wow. Weekly euro to the dollar. That's quite a move. Look at the volatility on that last month, and it just unchanged at the end of the day. Unch. So once it cleaned out this top, that's been cleaned, and they cleaned the clock down here to this. They never made it to here, though. So that's quite the wick. So we got that going on. It's going to take a lot to take out the high and low of that last month. It's going to take quite an effort. Wow. This still stands as being the most insane sell-off I've ever seen in my life here. That is a bone crusher. And then all of this consolidation, so 80% consolidation, 20% trend. I guess I'm going to call this a trend. Look at this walk down. Then insanity. This is pretty insane here. Don't forget these days before that. And this, what was the, also a classic kind of charting look at here. Let me get some more screen time here, screen space. But this a very choppy kind of tells you it's getting unstable. So when the market does this stuff, gets all wicky like this. Look at these moves. Did you ever think the market could do these moves? That is some. What could you possibly? Where's the trade? There's a zillion trades in there. That's a lot going on. I sure wish it had the yearly, but there's the weekly view of the same thing. This is a lot more high frequency trading. Here's a daily. And that is some crazy price action. Yeah, I can see a nice drift into here, and then we just kind of start to have to get the rhythm started again and build another I'm going to complete this, and then we come into Sunday night looking to buy on limits. I'll be buying on limits here, below here, and selling on limits above this. Always for the easy money, which would be that first price pulse, the first scalp. But if you don't rinse and repeat that, if you're not holding on to a larger target, so if you bought here at the bottom, so if you bought at the end of the week, just because it's down at the end of the week, here it's up. So this is a whole bearish candle in 1 week. If you bought here and you got out here, that's great, but it's better if you took those 20, 30, 40 pips before you made the 100. Then, as far as I'm concerned, I'm getting out here and then come back with the limits and rebuild the position. Because if you do that full dump, then you've got that flexibility to now rebuy that position on limits. So you just, everybody's got a target there. That's a big pivot. That's a big deal. Besides, this is such a move. Or you sold that right there. So now you're either the person that sold that for this drift back, but you have to know when it's not going to keep going like this. But if you're trading, if you have a basket of at least 10 tickets or 3 tickets, you got the flexibility to, like, you know what, I had to take one off here, or I had to buy one back, and I'm long 2 now. Pretty tough, right? Because these kind of moves here, I don't think people are just ready for this kind of velocity. This is just too much. Look at this. Bam. Yeah, there's some. Be cashing out here. And then next week, obviously, this is going to be the next piece of terrain that is going to be in debate. And this Corona thing, man, and never in my life have I seen people blow up their account. I go by these strip malls and I'm like, this guy is going to have a rent issue. Look at this thing fill all these tickets. Here comes the close of the week. So we could see this would be half of an engulf. This could be a 618 here. I think you'll see a Gartley in that thing. Yeah, it's amazing what you can read into these markets. Here's the cup and handle. Now, really, people, just it's going to be okay. I know that, man, I don't see people driving like that. You notice how people are driving lately? They're driving like maniacs out there. I got people that pass me. I'm like, really? Oh, that's not Corona's not a problem. I mean, so I've seen really bad trucking accidents too. Because you're kind of messing up people's routines. Jackknife semi with metal on the back and took out the guardrail, and there's barrels there. It's like this whole. I never seen a crash like that in my life. We always have some good crashes out here. People go 80 miles an hour on this piece of flat road, 2 lanes. It's an engineered by the Army team of engineers kind of road. So yeah, this is pretty boring. It's like watching paint dry. This 4-hour chart. You have to go to the 15. Oh, see, people already cashed out on the 15. This is a different world, the 15-minute chart. A lot of spastic, fast money here. Look at this. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Always making it a little bit higher, notice. Always a little bit higher. Scalpers come in, sell that new high, buy it back, sell the new high, buy it back. Sell that new high, buy it back. Look at all the trades out here. Caves in this hole. Buyers come in. So if you buy every 15 minutes, it's down. The bigger it's down, the more you buy. Then you dump. And you're like, oh my God. That's some nice clean money there. It's beautiful. That's when the news came out. As your jobless reports came out. Now, if you are watching this, you're shitting your pants as it comes down here. You're like, holy shit. You don't even see that on a 4-hour chart. You can't see that. If you bought the high of yesterday for confirmation, you had to endure this pullback. You're like, damn it. That confirmation trading is kind of pissing me off. How's that now? Why do you say that? Why do you say that, boss? Well, I put a buy stop here, and as soon as they fill me, notice how they crush me. I know what you're saying. Of course, actually, you're still in that trade, right? Did they really crush you? They only crushed you if you bought 80K right on that one ticket, and you're like, yeah, it's fucking. I'm down like $150 on this trade already. You gotta stick with your plans, son. You said you'd put the. Well, I know that, but why don't I do something a little bit more like less stupid? I don't know. You feel like a moron putting a buy stop here, don't you? Follow my rules. That's why I got a moving average on my charts. It's my baseline. Don't take my baseline away. Yeah, it's a really you have to trade what you think's comfortable. Man, look at this. Look at this noise. The secret is selling these new highs or buying new lows. Buying these new lows here. I like this one. This is a fast, nice, quick trade. Comes below here. Double bottom on the 15. Rejects that floor, engulfs to here. The sellers come in, comes smashing back to here, and then bam. Here was the Asian stop hunt or whatever. Retest. There's a nice trade on the 15. Here's a nice one. Here's a nice. Plenty of trades here. Buy limit stacking up here. All the way down. Hey, if it ever comes back to this top, this whole doji congestion nonsense here, 80% consolidation, 10%, 90% consolidation, 10% trend. Nice trend here Very nice. Is this trending? No. On a 15? No, this is not trend. I like this trend here. Can we get in that trade? Got buy limits stacking up here. Oh, so this is the hedgerama. Pretty quiet. Corona. These people. Okay, it's 4:30 in the morning, going back to sleep. I'm gonna let this thing just play out. I'm not gonna add to it. Trying to make $1,200. I'll take 800 though. Get to 5,800, go flat, come back in with limits. Then next week I'm gonna trade limits in this account. I'm not gonna trade the breakouts. I don't really like that style of trading, but I guess we could do both. I still put some stupid breaks, some stupid goober trades in there. I like the limits even better than the market orders because it's less work. I don't have to babysit the charts. I can just say, you know what? I know I want to buy if they come down below this price, so I'm just going to put limits in here. If every hour, this is the S&P 500, if every hour it's down, I'm buying and buying and buying, okay, maybe, I don't know. I'm not even trading this thing. Like this thing, I would just buy this flat out with a tight stop. I don't care if it goes down. That's another thing. If you got like a 15, a 20, a 100 pip stop, okay, one of these tickets is going to win. At least 5 pips. This looks like it's going to go either way, so I could say I don't really feel like putting in a. Somebody asked, well, what about this here? Well, you'd have to really risk some money here. Sell stop here, buy stop here, or buy stop here, and be like, So if this does cave in, there's buyers below here. There's buyers on every one of these. Well, which one do you get in on? I would say get in on all, but as it goes down, you're going to buy a 2K, a 3K, a 8K, a 20K. There's got to be a scalp to make the 100 pips, to make this, to make that. Just like here, you're underwater right now. If you bought this all the way down, you made 100 pips to here. You're still underwater. Did you rebuy this? Did you? That's a daily chart. You got all the time in the world. That's definitely a buy, in my opinion, here. Just at least to here. The sellers will start coming in here and here. And we're going to get this kind of stuff where people are like, I don't like this trading. We're not going anywhere. The guy that can trade this and the guy that can trade this will always make money. You'll just always make money. It's how much sometimes you're making a lot, sometimes you're making a little. Who could trade this stuff? Look at this. Euro versus the pound. Man, look at this thing. God damn. That's a daily chart. It finally just caves, and then finally the trend trader's like, I'm making money. Oh my God. Look at this psychosis. That's just mind-blowing. I don't know. You kids don't understand. These markets are on fire. We've never seen trading like this, or price action like this. Not in a long time. There's the weekly. Actually, this currency pair can be the most boring shit in the world. Like, look at this. See, this is no nonsense. Doesn't trade this. There's not enough volume. Maybe this. He probably made money there. He made money there. I can see no nonsense trade. Yeah, he's going to take a piece out of that move. Well, ain't that good enough, son? Not for me. This is a whole year of like, wow. This year's been a real bad year in trading. I know, because your trade plan can't adjust to market dynamics. I know, I got it. Here's some trades I put in. When it died down, those are good hedges. Not the most premium targets, but this thing's dead in the water. Here's a nice scalp. If you had your limits in here for the big hole forming up here. Okay, let's go to the crude oil market. Looks like it's going to down a little bit more here coming into the open. But yeah, it's going to be the holidays is here. Looks like we could sell off here on the crude oil. They trapped the breakout traders that on that rooftop. See the dollar yen. Looks like it could melt down here, drift down. So the wheels came off everything here. Look at that wick. Good God. Brutal. Man, look at that thing. Dollar yen. Whew. That's crazy. What else is there? British pound's drifting up a little bit. So things in a drift mode. Not much to see here. Yeah, everything's dead in the water. So it looks like it's safe to go back in the water. If you're afraid of volatility, this looks like it finally reached its target. New Zealand versus Swiss. I would say that's mission accomplished, completed right there. It came all the way back to this. And we're just dead in the water. Psycho Wicks. That is some crazy stuff. Anybody trade these pairs? You got time for this stuff? I don't know if this is a bad price over here. That looks like that could not be a real price, maybe. Okay, it's almost 5 in the morning. I'm waiting for the U.S. markets to open, and I guess finally people have realized that they're going to have more toilet paper than they ever thought they'd ever want. More ventilators, more masks, more gloves. Then they're going to be blowing these out at half off. Time to pick up your own ventilator. Oh, I'm sorry, you need a certificate of need. Did Trump get rid of that too? You know, this is the web. People create these traps for themselves. Of oh, we need this, we need that. Like, oh, you need that. Aw, that cute. Don't forget the olden days. You lived to be 35 years old. So I'm definitely. Most people are on borrowed time, and apparently the people coming into the hospital, the oxygen rate is like 70%. They should be dead. They should already be dead. And they're marking you down as a COVID-19 victim because you were wearing a COVID-19 t-shirt. I don't know anybody personally that has COVID-19. And people tell me they do know people that have died from it. And I believe people are dying every day. Look at the stats. Everybody's a retail trader. They're losing. They're getting manipulated by all the... I mean, if people are getting plastic surgery, what does that tell you? They've made so much fucking money that they can start to contour the way they look. How did you know they were... You could see it coming when Bruce Jenner said, you know what? It's not good enough to just be alive. I want to change my gender or something. Okay, you've arrived. You are so wealthy that you can get a new car and a new sex and a new house and a new this and a new that. Let's not forget the new and improved world. I'm just speaking for people that have seen that. What was wrong with the old one? Or can you come up with a different name? Oh, this is new and improved. The latest buzzword is like mastering forex trading. And people are like, it sounds like a lofty goal. But you're always having to So if you play guitar, I guess you could just play the same cover songs and go, you know what, I'm happy with that. Or maybe you want to explore new things, you know. So it depends. It doesn't matter the topic really. If you can see an opportunity somewhere, and I guess you have to go with your gut instinct on some stuff because you know, yeah, there's books people say got a book you could recommend. I guess. Like I say, it's going to depend, but I would say Mark Douglas' book, The Disciplined Trader, is pretty technical, but it definitely proves that belief systems is driving your thing. So the guy that's asking, you make any money yet? Is like, can you even make money? Is it even possible? I see, it's a rhetorical question. Of course, you can make money, and everybody's made money. I'm sure most people that have traded have made some kind of money. I can't believe they lost every trade. I don't even think that's possible. So we've all had um, beginner's luck, or just even experts' luck. It doesn't matter. Wherever you pull the trigger on some, oh look, I think it's going up. I mean or I think it's going down. A directional trade in some kind of position somewhere, either in a demo or real money, or just saying, I think I can tell you, I think it's going to be a cold winter. Look, you got that right. So the forecasting world, as opposed to the I'm betting on that trade world, is a trade that you have on. So if you're only talking about the trades that you're in, and what's the rationale for the trade? Rationality for the trade. So these people like Ryan Brown are going to say, well, I have rationality and fundamentals. So even if the market goes against me or I lose money, I had a completely valid reason to take this trade. A moral, ethical, logical, fundamental. Um, I'm not out of my mind. I'm doing rational things. I got into this because geopolitically, just the geopolitical argument to trading. And you could say, see, look at the coronavirus is over. Therefore, I'm buying the this or whatever. Europe healed before the United States, so I bought the euro dollar. And look at I'm making money. You could have flipped a coin and had the same result. Oh no, it's my analysis. Well, if that's true, then you should win every trade from here on out. But you couldn't because fundamentally you may be right, but there's still the crowd that's driving it. So the better you get at trading, the more you can see that this is a fake move, but you'd be surprised how far people will lose their minds. So you the more sophisticated you get at trading, the harder it is to make money. So beginner's luck, because in beginner's luck you say stuff like, "Oh, maybe you're not trading with a tight stop at all, no stop at all, and you put on trade, and this is easy. Look at this. Who can see that coming?" And then you get blindsided because you think that you can be more clever than the crowd, but the crowd is going to drive it. Like you're like, can't people see this is going to turn around in the next 2 weeks? So I'm buying into it now. That's my view. That's why it's the swing trader would have to endure the goobers, the herd going against them, and be the uh, ultra contrarian on one particular day and one particular hour. You're going to appear to be the ultra contrarian when your entry may be just based on the fact that it's too extreme of a price to be sustained, and structurally it is a 4-year low, an 8-year low. And when the market starts to go into a 20-year low and doesn't stop, that is the argument for who's standing in front of these giant voids. When the Swiss franc was depegged, now that's a manipulated market, or it's a fixed market looking to get broken by the crowd. Just because they depegged it, why did it go down? Did they sell it? Did they just let go of the other side of the trade? I think they let go. They're holding the other side of the trade in a locked hedge, and they let go. They're like, we're going to let this leg go. And it fell into a hole. I'm assuming that's what happened. I don't, I could read all the books in the world, but, there's so many opinions out there. And does it really matter if all you're trying to do is make money 50 pips a day scanning for markets just based on pip volatility? Imagine there was no spread. Sure, you look at every instrument and go, look at this, there's a 500 pip setup forming over here. And I only look for 500 pip setups, so I'm looking for a currency that's moving at 500 pips. That's your filter. Yeah, because that's going to be a real you're fitting in that trade plan fits that market in that time frame. But these time frames are constantly changing, and when the market dies down, can you make a living or can you make any money? Whether it's a living or not, whether it's supplemental income, and that's another thing. People all or nothing. It's like, well, you could totally dedicate yourself to trading, or you could just be like 50% of your income's for trading. Are you a full-time trader? Yeah. Well, even if you're trading every day and you're only risking 10% of your net worth or 50% of your net worth or equity or whatever you want to call it, and you're still, married, which would be an unpaid job, or you're still taking care of somebody, or you helping out a friend, and he's paying you, or say you're a girl that dances at the titty bar, and you trade on the side. Are you a full-time trader? Yeah, if you're Hannah Forex. If you're like Hannah Forex and you're going to school and they're paying you to go to school, or you're spending money to go to school and you're supplementing your, yeah. Now, different than I guess this prop trading view that you're a full-time trader. It's a job you should get in the morning. You put on your coat and tie, or you sit at home with your coat and tie on, and you put on trades, and you got your pencils, and you got your calculators, and yeah, you could trade like that. I mean, this would be like if you're playing music in the symphony, are you a musician? Yeah. But this thing, like, you're driving a Ferrari, a Porsche, and you're trading. I don't know how often that happens because usually people that are trading are kind of misers to begin with. I'm thinking if they're looking for a good entry, they're not out just. I mean, Warren Buffett is not doing donuts in a Porsche. Is he? But this is the view of like. That's the empowered trading view. You got a chunk of money, you're trading a little bit, but you could live off the whole account if you had to. And besides, you got real estate going, and you've got you still have your original shop, or you still you could be a greeter at Walmart, and you could be a forex trader that makes more money trading, and maybe you just like to be, because trading is not the kind of social job. If you're trading by yourself, it's not like, unless you like being by yourself, it's not the kind of job where you can dress up and people at the coffee machine in the morning and go, hey, you look pretty good, Al, you look pretty good today. You been working out? Well, not since they closed the gyms. No, I've actually been packing on the pounds, getting ice cream at half price because nobody's buying ice cream. Well, that's good. So I think it's a lifestyle thing. But I know with the internet and the YouTubes and the ICTs, and I still am just, I don't know. I guess it's this kind of belonging, I believe in this guy's trading system. Yeah, there's trade blocks. Yeah, there's ICT. Yeah, there's I'm not going to say market manipulation, but there's price movement. Now, what you attribute that price movement to, that could be either Alex Jones, you just need more zinc in your trade, or, there's so many things. But I think, for me, it comes down to the platform and the broker, and this the drudgery. I mean, this is like, well, you need a car and you're going to need fuel in your car. Okay, well, any other questions? Well, it's like a delivery service. So I look at this almost like I'm going to accumulate I'm going to load the wagon and I'm going to dump it. So I'm trying to make money from inventory. A price comes into certain tickets. I got this, I got that, I got this, and I dump it. It's a digital trade. It's a platform is the one that's giving me the ability to accommodate large price swings or tight price swings based on that. So the whole thing is built on MT4. Now, yeah, at some point here, I'd love to have a robot do this kind of mundane trades that look obvious, the breakout thing. But in the end, it kind of ruins the fun. Like I said, you don't want a smart car is not going to drive as good as. Oh, they'd have smart cars driving in the Indy 500 if it was legal. Maybe they should do that, especially in this coronavirus situation. Let's just have smart cars, or have a guy remotely, like slot cars, but without the slot. What's next, man? Oh my God! So new industries are going to pop up now, and it's time. So what's going to happen is nature finds a way, and actually people are going to say, well, it's really, I reconnected with my wife and was able to poison her and nobody knew that I killed her, and I found a new hobby, and look at, I painted the house and I painted my wife, and I have, she's in the wall, actually, she's dead in the wall. And there was a Columbo episode where this chick was dead in the wall in a bag, and Columbo's like, I think I hear a cell phone. Yep, I do. It's in the wall. There's a chick in the wall with a cell phone. So that's but yeah, this is pure entertainment. If you're used to watching hysteria, like what was the last one? The vape. We got to ban vaping. People are dying. Little kids are dying on vape pipes. What happened to the vape pipe thing? I think there's some Corona vape pipe deaths out there. I'm just saying. Fucking A. The circus proceeds. It's 1 minute before 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart. Let's zoom in on that. Just about to update. Looks like we're going to forge north here, so I would have bought that last hour. That was 4 o'clock in the morning, and this is going to complete 5. Boom. So we're going to hold that. We're not going to buy. I'm not going to chase it. There you go. 5 seconds. So we just got the update of that. We got a narrow range. Here comes the breakout bots. They're going to glom onto this 5 o'clock bar that's a low volatility bar. But in the landscape of everything, this is the other issue. The landscape of everything. Can you even see that trade? I can't. Here's the 5 minute. 5 minute looks like we're going to crush down. Time frame matters. Compression of data matters to your view. That's, I think, why trading's hard. Look at this. Like, which chart do I look at? We do a top-down view here. Have you ever been to empowered trading? No, tell me about it. Well, we take a top-down view. Here's the monthly chart. We're expecting this move here, or possibly this move here. Should I get in here? No, what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait. How do you feel about waiting? Not a big fan, but we're expecting a move like this, and we're gonna sell here, and we're gonna get out here. Okay. What do you expect that we could get up here so we could sell here so we could go down to here? Could you tell me about that? Well, it could take some time. There'll be a bunch of zigzags on the way there. I'm like, well, I'm okay. Could we just buy here, maybe? No, you don't want to do that because we don't know if it's going to go up here yet. Well, can I sell here? Well, you could, but we don't know what's going to go down here yet. We're really thinking it's going to go here and then it's going to go here. Okay, I gotcha. So you think it's going to go here, then it's going to go here. So we should. Has anybody ever watched the Empowered Trading channel? I'm sure they still have their old videos up. Was they tore them down in embarrassment of stupidity? These harebrained trades they set up, and they go, "See, we were right. We sold up here. We waited for it to come all the way to here." I know everybody else sold there for obvious reasons. People sold for the next 300 pips. People with a 200 pip stop, 500 pip stop sold all the way up there, and then they got out down here. But they didn't use the Gartley pattern. Good old Gartley. He's spinning in his grave. I never thought they'd be selling courses on my harmonic trading. I haven't done a search for that in a while. God, people are like trying to sue me for making fun of it. Stepped on a hot. I'm over the target. Alex Jones, I'm over the forex target. Man, this Corona thing. I want to get a Corona burger. I kind of got a hankering for, well, the 1 hour chart. Don't even see a trade on that. Okay, that was abrupt. Look, here's the 4 hour chart. We're still waiting for the completion of the 4 hour chart, so there you go.